Hello dudes, my name is Grimdoc, and today we're going to be covering the first ever war in the cosmology of the Forgotten Realms, called the Dawn War. Alrighty, so last episode we covered Ao and his creation of the universe, as well as the mad god Tharizdun and his deal with the ASGORATH lords. What I didn't tell you is how many insane stories are packed into this, so expect quite a few videos in the future covering this big, massive, gigantic war. Let's begin. So you have two sides here. You have the Primordials and the ASGORATH lords and gods from outside of realm space, and the gods from realm space, Ao, and other gods from outside of it. Hey, remember how we talked about the difference between gods and primordials? Well, from here on, we're going to be referring to the primordials as the bad guys and the gods as the good guys. Alright, back to the video. They basically had a showdown across the universe. After creating the Abyss, the gods of realm space and other gods from different universes took immediate notice of what Tharizdun did, and they all basically got together to chain him to the very, very bottom of it. Remember, in the cosmology of the Forgotten Realms lore, the Nine Hells has many layers below it as well, where different demons rule over different layers. Tharizdun was chained to the very, very bottom of this thing. Hey, just a heads up on this tale, Tharizdun in the Forgotten Realms lore is actually a big void of pure black energy, so you can't really see or touch him. Just a fun fact. It's never mentioned how exactly he was taken down and chained in the Forgotten Realms lore, considering he's supposed to be an amorphic being, which means he doesn't have a shape or form. Anyways, before this guy was chained to the bottom of the Abyss, Tharizdun tried to rally other primordial gods to his side, and let's just say the universe didn't like that. Remember how we talked about those ASGORATH lords in the last video? They weren't the only evil beings in the Forgotten Realms. A lot of the primordials were also referred to as demons as well. So, let's go back to the planet of Aber-Toril from here. We really won't be needing to travel the universe to understand what's going on anymore. So, whew, we're finally getting to the good stuff, and man, dudes, this stuff gets crazy from here, let me tell you. So one of the primordial demons, called Miska the Wolf-Spider, took up the mantle of leading the primordials after Tharizdun was chained, and the war basically continued around the planet of Aber-Toril from there. So yeah, the primordials still agreed with Tharizdun's actions for some reason, and Miska ended up taking his place leading the armies of the evil gods. Remember in the last video how I described that the planet was one gigantic supercontinent surrounded entirely by ocean? That continent was called Ouroboros, by the way. The primordials decided to use this as their stage for battle, and one of them, named Nahusta, created this gigantic megastructure that not only went through the planet, but reached above the freaking clouds, and this was called the Fortress of Glaur. This big, gigantic bastion was basically where all the primordials got together during their war against the gods. It was like this giant metallic structure, and was probably the biggest castle that the planet would ever see, with tons and tons of walls and different spires as well. But for now, let's talk about Miska the Wolf-Spider before we go back to this. One of the ASGORATH lords, called the Queen of Chaos, decided to join his side around this era. According to some info, Miska the Wolf-Spider and the Queen of Chaos, yeah, they were lovers. Before we continue here, we gotta talk about Obox Ob, who at the time was known as the Prince of Demons. Now this dude wasn't what you would call a demon at all, because just like the Queen of Chaos, he was also an ASGORATH lord. I mean, look at this creepy guy. Now this dude ruled over poisons and verminous creatures like rat kings and the like. Anyways, after the Queen of Chaos killed him, the essence of his title, being the Prince of Demons, was given to her lover Miska the Wolf-Spider. Obviously, Obox Ob wasn't permanently killed, as his essence continued to persist. So let's go back and talk about the Queen of Chaos for a minute, because man, this story goes deep. Okay, so you guys are aware that other ASGORATH lords were born and let loose during the Dawn War, right? This war went on for a long time. Anyways, according to some information, the Queen of Chaos was born inside of the Abyss, the same one that Tharizdun made with the Shard of Pure Evil. A lot of Obyrith lords were thrown in here too, and many of them died out trying to escape it. Well, during this chaotic period, some very, very nasty evil souls that were also deemed as pure evil were also thrown in there. The queen took these same souls and made other gods called the Tanari. After escaping the Abyss, she took those same evil beings that she made, rallied other primordials, and made Miska the Wolf-Spider the leader of that entire army since Tharizdun was taken out. She decided, you know what, forget the multiverse, and waged a war against all of everything. Eventually, the armies of the Primordials ended up in the universe of Gray Space. Miska the Wolf-Spider and his armies were basically beaten down by the gods of Gray Space around this time during the war. They ended up back in the universe of Gray Space on its main planet called ASGORATH. Here, Miska and his army of evil gods were taken down hard. You see, in the Gray Space, there are these crazy powerful sages called the Wind Dukes of Akka. They designed this really powerful rod called the Rod of Law, and dude, this thing was insanely powerful. It took down Miska the Wolf-Spider, and after he was beaten down, they took his body and chained him to Pandemonium. They then sealed his essence inside of the rod. Afterwards, the rod was broken into 7 different parts, and then scattered across the entire multiverse. After Miska was taken down, the Obyrith lords working together basically started to break up with their alliances with each other, and the entire army fractured into pieces. Anyways, back in Realm Space, the gods and celestials of the upper planes took advantage of this, and they went back into the Abyss, launching a full-scale invasion. From here, it was really close to a complete slaughter, and the Queen of Chaos ended up having to withdraw into the 14th layer of this abyss. This layer was also called the Steaming Fen, and here she still remains in quiet, trying to figure out new ways to restart her war against the multiverse. Remember, my dudes, this is still considered ancient times, so people still refer to this era as the Age Before Ages. Alrighty, so let's move back into the main universe of the Forgotten Realms again. Back in the reaches of the cosmos, Shar and Selûne moved out, really upset at the stuff going on, and moved in on the chaos happening around the planet of Abertoril. Since the incident that went down with Miska the Wolf-Spider, the war had continued across the cosmos as well, and many other gods and primordials were still slaughtering each other. During this period, somewhere on Maroroboros, the divine dragon god Io ended up in a battle against another primordial called Eric Hus, also called the King of Terror, and we'll definitely be covering this in the next episode. Anyways, dudes, that's it for now, and thank you so much for watching. Yesterday, I passed 250 subscribers for the first time. Thank you all so freaking much for that. I promise from here, I'll be working my butt off, getting new episodes with the highest possible quality that I can dish out. But that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that as well. But otherwise, this is Grimdoc the Lore Master, signing out.